said you all are shorthanded once again. How has that kind of hamstrung your efforts to game plan with so much uncertainty?
Well, at the end of the day, you just have to, you plan to, attack, their offense and try to stop their offense, and then, you have to try to do it with the personnel that you got, and, I think we're in a situation that, everybody's in, and, there can be some uncertainty here or there, but we attack every day, like we've always gone about doing it, and we've got obviously a huge challenge, in terms of trying to stop this offense.
John Clay?
Brad, I can't imagine it was a pleasant experience, but what did you see on the video from Saturday? What stuck out to you?
You know what? What stuck out was there were some guys that strained, and, that was highlighted. And so there were some guys that didn't, as much as I would have liked, and that was pointed out as well. And at this point of the season and at all points of the season, there has to be accountability, for that. And, I thought the guys, there were some guys, again, that really elevated and stepped up to the challenge. There were some mistakes in there that, again, that we just can't make. And, opportunities that we have to make. You play a team like that and you have two opportunities at interceptions, in the first 20 plays of the games, you gotta take advantage of it. It helps turn a game around. Penalties up front, we've got to do better. That's 2 weeks in a row, that we've got a roughing the passer penalty, and this time we had 2 in this game. So we've got to be smart around the quarterback. I thought, some of the stuff we did, caused some issues, but we were really worried about first down efficiency. I think we did, and for the most part, we got what we wanted on first down. There were some second downs, where we needed to be better. But, again, there were guys that fought and scrapped, and that's what we're looking for, especially under the circumstances.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Jeff Drummond.
Bless you, Slacks.
Thank you.
Brad, it's kind of, one of those out of the, frying pan into the fryer, whatever the old say deals is this week. Doesn't get any easier. What is the challenge with Florida? How do you kind of compare and contrast them to what you just saw?
A little bit different, in terms of, they are a much better running team and much more efficient on the ground than they were last year, where they were so heavily reliant, through the air. But they've got a lot of weapons, just like what we just faced, on the outside perimeter. I think they run the ball hard. Maybe they don't grind it in the run game quite as much as Alabama. But, from a tight end standpoint with Pitts, he's as good as there is in college football. And, they've got skill there at the wideout positions. Tony, anytime he touches the ball, is electric. You got to make sure you pin him to the ground because he could go to the house at any time. They've got big, tall wide receivers on the outside. So, they throw up some of those jump balls. We're going to have to be really competitive, especially down in the red zone. So, obviously they've got a lot of different avenues they can go. Trask is playing good football. He knows where he wants to go, with the football. And so there's a lot of similarities to what we faced last week. Some small differences, but nonetheless explosive.
Josh Moore.
Brett, watching, I've not got to watch a whole lot of their games, but I'm sure you've watched a ton more tape than I have. It looks like, though, they're pretty boom or bust as far as the run game goes. Is that more just how they play call, or is that something, are teams able to maybe take that away sometimes and kind of make Trask have to do a lot more?
I think, You know, everybody sort of attacks, you know, game plans different. And, you know, when you're facing a dynamic offense, you've got to decide what you want to take away. And, you know, there are times that, you know, if you want to go take away the run, you load the box. You know, you can create some problems up front, you know, but then you're gonna isolate some guys, you know, in the back end, and they got to win one-on-ones, you know, in the RPO game, you know, and in the play action game. If you want to protect in the, you know, try to protect some of the weapons, you know, then, you know, on the outside edges, you know, it's going to lighten the box, and you got a chance for some of those big runs, you know, to slip through. So, you know, I think Pierce runs the ball hard. You know, he does a really nice job, you know, balance-wise. He's strong. You know, and I think the O-line has done a much better job, and I think they found a little bit of identity in the run game. You know, so, no, to say that they're boom or bust, I don't know. They're still averaging, I think, you know, about 150 yards a game, you know, on the ground. So, you know, obviously we got to handle it there, because if they've got the ability to both run and throw to all those weapons, and you're not taking away anything, you're really going to be taking away nothing.
John Clay?
Brad, how have your kids reacted to Saturday? Are their heads down? Are they angry? And how much is player leadership important after something like that, going into a game like this?
Well, I think it's huge. You know, I anytime you lose, especially sort of in the way, you know, that we did, you've got to have, you know, a strong core, you know, from a leadership standpoint, that looks at the tape, looks at what happened, look at the issues, owns up to them, and then moves on. And so it's extremely important that our guys own up to the mistakes, but it's all, and the coaches as well, you know, myself included. I stood in front of the guys and said, you know, there are better calls that I can make. But if you dwell on last week, or you put your head down, it's going to carry over to the next. And I think our guys have done a good job of, you know, keeping their heads up. You know, there's still obviously a sting, you know, and, you know, amount of, you know, they want to earn that respect back.
Jeff Drummond?
Yeah, Brad, you mentioned that you pointed out some of the positive things and guys straining earlier. It seems like J.J. Weaver might be one of those guys who's putting out that extra effort. Are there some other guys along with him, and what do you think about his progress right now?
Yeah, I think JJ's coming along, and I'm excited about his future. Excited to watch him, you know, play this week, and, you know, excited to see what he can do, you know, in there early in the game. And, you know, we're gonna see. You know, it's gonna be a big game in a big environment. I think he can handle it. What he's doing right now is he's playing strong. He's playing violent. He's not overthinking. He's letting his natural ability shine. Again, it's not perfect technique-wise. You know, there are things that we're still cleaning up. You know, and even assignment-wise. But every week's been better, and he looks more and more comfortable every time he steps on the field. And he's going to step on the field plenty.
Anything else for Coach White?
If I could toss you a quick follow-up.
Yep.
You mentioned Pitt earlier, and he's put on a show.
Who's that? I'm sorry?
You mentioned Pitt from Florida,
Oh, yes.
and he's just been as good as anybody almost that we've seen. What sort of things do you do there? What kind of challenges are there for your personnel and that position group that has to face him?
Well, I think it's really important, you know, with a great player like him. You know, you got to try to not let it get to that jump ball situation, because he's got such good ball skills, and you've seen it. Didn't matter if it's a corner, if it's a linebacker, it's a safety. He's got the ability. He's really soft hands. He's got the ability to adjust to the ball in flight. For a man his size, it's really impressive. Obviously, can push and extend the field. So you've got to hopefully try to affect Trask a little bit so the balls aren't in perfect position, and well placed. You got to try to do some different things to maybe get him off as the primary target. But then there's going to be times that you can't just live in that realm, and somebody's going to have to win one-on-one, and that's going to be where when that ball's up in the air, maybe you hold your breath a little bit, but I've got confidence that our guys can make plays.
Okay, anything else for Coach White? Okay, if not, we'll waiting on players, and we'll have them in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.